I have read many comics in my day. I've always been a huge fan of comics. They're some of my favorite things to read. Thanks to the internet and online spaces, comics and manga are now more available than ever. I recently picked up and started reading a manga called My Divorced Crybaby Neighbor, written by Zayugeya? Yeah, I do not know how to pronounce these names for shit, so apologies in advance for the obvious mispronunciations. Yes, that is the real title, and yes, I do think it sounds goofy. Originally being uploaded to Twitter in August 2021 and later published by Katakawa in May 2022, My Divorced Crybaby Neighbor is about a divorced older woman named Ochihai getting into a relationship with her neighbor Saratari. It falls into the slice of life/romance category of anime. Call me a fucking crybaby pussy if you want, but I love romance and slice of life anime. I like seeing wholesome shit. I'm a huge fan of action series and shit, but sometimes it's good to just sit down and watch something nice, calm, and sometimes relatable. It's nice in my opinion, and My Divorced Crybaby Neighbor is no exception to this. It has a pretty simple plot as I explained earlier, but it's still pretty good. The story is never boring and no story event takes over for too long. It knows how to not overstay its welcome. My favorite part of the story so far has to be the part where Ochiai and Saratari go on a trip to a hot springs for a while. Ochiai originally tries to get the tickets from a raffle but failed and lost, but she desperately wants to go with Saratari and decides to buy the tickets herself and lied to him about getting them for free. Later on, she realizes that she lied to him and feels incredibly awful for it. So she does what she thinks is right and apologizes to him, and even then she still feels awful. She apologizes to him profusely. Of course, Saratari isn't mad and they continue to have fun on their awesome hot springs trip till the end. That apology scene is actually a really good example of something that I really enjoy in My Divorced Crybaby Neighbor. It has a really good portrayal of mental health issues, specifically anxiety. After the divorce she went through, Ochiai is left with low self-esteem issues and anxiety, as most people who go through a divorce would have, especially when your partner is the one who wants the divorce. She's super apologetic all the time, a bit socially awkward, she doesn't feel like she's good enough, and she's an overthinker. And in turn she has trust issues left over from her divorce. She also just in general has a gloomy, closed off, and somewhat timid appearance in the beginning. She probably had a lot of these aspects of her personality before her divorce, but the divorce definitely intensified them and made them way more difficult to handle. Over the 49 chapters that are currently available at the time of me making this video, you see her change a lot. Her becoming friends and later getting into a relationship and moving in with Saratari really does change her for the better. She even becomes friends with a co-worker of hers. Not to involve my personal life, but I really relate to the change she goes through after meeting this one person. Sometimes when you meet someone you really care about, it changes you for the better. Whether that care you have for them is platonic or romantic doesn't really matter. It can have the same type of effect on you. It's a really good and accurate portrayal of mental health and how surrounding yourself around good people really can improve your mental health and make you into a better version of yourself. Once she starts to get closer to Saratari, she becomes less and less closed off and more expressive. You can see this in the way she's drawn. In the first chapter, her appearance is well put together but obviously closed off. She looks like she's on edge all the time, and at any moment she'll snap into an emotional mess. The most expressive she gets is when her negative emotions overwhelm her, but even then it's not that much of an expressive change. She looks relatively the same, except now no longer on edge and timid, but full on upset and breaking down. But in later chapters, when she starts to hang out with Saratari and growing a strong bond with him, her appearance changes artistically to fit with her now changing character. But it isn't a complete 180. She now appears composed and a lot more friendly. Her expressions still change when she is overwhelmed by her emotions like earlier, but now it comes from positive emotions and not negative ones. Emotions like joy, flattery, excitement, love, and I'm just gonna say it, horny. It happens when she's horny too. It's some really good visual storytelling, and that of course is a good thing because manga is in fact a visual storytelling medium. Comics in general are a visual storytelling medium. I also really fucking love the art style of this manga too. It's so fucking cute and amazing. I love it so damn much. Everything just looks so good. It's really appealing and easy on the eyes. Even without color, its art is easy to read and follow. It's some great shit, really. The characters also have very good, recognizable, and original designs. If I saw a blank outline of the characters with no details, I could probably name them off one by one. The backgrounds are also pretty good too. Something I realized early on in my reading of the manga is that while yes, the story is told from both Saratari and Ochiya, in the beginning it was mostly from Saratari's perspective. and now later into the series it's mostly told from Uchiha's point of view. I think it's a good change making her perspective the main one, but I'm glad they're giving both of them the ability to tell it from their point of view, and not just having it be told purely from Uchiha's perspective. There's something about My Divorced Crybaby Neighbor that some people might see as a downside, but I personally see as a good thing. There aren't many reoccurring side characters. I know that sounds like more of a con than a pro, but hear me out on this. Most animes have a lot, and I mean a lot of side characters as it is, but slice of life and romance anime have so many side characters, it's ridiculous sometimes. There are like, at most, 2 side characters who show up in My Divorced Crybaby Neighbor, and I think they're really good. Those 2 characters are Uchiha's co-worker, Karasuma, a chill divorced woman who has a kid, and the other side character is Sawatari's younger sister, Yuika, who is kind of silly and teases her brother and Uchiha sometimes, but that's really all she does. Those 2 are really the only side characters that appear somewhat frequently, and that's for the best in my opinion. It keeps the focus steady on the main characters and leaves just enough time and space for us to enjoy these 2 side characters, and allows the side characters to be more fleshed out and developed compared to if the cast was full of more unimportant, boring, and two-dimensional side characters. I haven't talked about his character much in this video because, to be honest, he is sorta simple and easy to understand, but Sawatari is also a pretty good character. He's sweet, kind, sorta a dummy at times, and he works well with and bounces off the other characters pretty well. He fits the role he's given pretty damn well and serves as a good secondary main character. But remember when I said he was a pretty simple character? Well, at least that's how it appears on the surface. Well, it isn't a major change or super noteworthy, and honestly, it went over my head at first, but after reading it again, I noticed that around the time he meets Uchiha, he also becomes more lively and energetic. He was already lively and energetic before getting into a relationship with her, but around the time they become closer, he is somewhat more lively and bubbly than he was before. It's a really subtle change that, like I said, is a bit too hard to notice at first, but it's still appreciated. I love seeing small but nonetheless good character details like that. If you can't tell by how much I have praised My Divorced Crybaby Neighbor in this video, I really enjoy the series. I think it's cute, wholesome, and really well written. It knows what it's trying to do and excels in it perfectly. It has a really heartfelt story and core, and the amazing art style goes hand in hand in representing it. I would really recommend picking the series up and giving it a read. I doubt that you'd regret it. On the time I've spent online though, I haven't really heard much about this manga. I found it by chance, just purely by wandering into a website. I found it by mistake. I was looking for something else at the time and found it. And I'm glad I did because I really do enjoy it. I'm hoping this video will get the word out and people will start picking up the series. That way so it can get more popular and more people can discuss it. Because I do really think it is a good series that deserves attention. That's all I really wanted to talk about in this video though. I hope you enjoyed my insane ramblings about what I believe to be this obscure but really good manga. I'll see you next time in the next video.